Over the last few years, I've reviewed nearly all of the most popular golf watches available to buy right now. And one of the most common questions that I get asked is which one is the best. The problem is, it's really difficult to rank each watch's unique features against one another. Should battery life rank higher than ease of use? Should the quality of the screen matter more than the additional features like a heart rate sensor? How can I possibly decide which golf watch is the best? Well, by taking a new approach and having an old school knockout tournament. I'm going to pitch every current watch that I've tested against one another. I've got watches ranging from just over £100 to well over 500. Now, although I've tested all of these watches and done full reviews, I have sold some of them since because I didn't think I needed them anymore, so that's why I've not got all of them here with me today. I've assigned each watch's starting place completely at random to make sure that everything is as fair as possible. So let's find out which is the best golf watch in 2025. Kicking us off is the Garmin Approach S12 versus the SkyCaddie LX2. Starting with the S12, it's Garmin's entry-level GPS golf watch. Now, it's not got a touchscreen or anything like that. In fact, the screen is a very basic black and white memory in pixel display, but it is nice and easy to read out on the course. And one of the main benefits of having this type of display is it has incredible battery life. I mean, in standby mode, it lasts around 30 days. Out on the course, you're going to be able to use this for several rounds before you need to charge the battery. It is very simple and easy to use. You've got a select button, a back button, and then an up and down to navigate the menus. And the layout, because it's Garmin, they just generally get the layout right. It's really easy to use out on the course. And you're getting pretty much all the basic essential information that you're gonna need of a golf watch. And you can save your scorecard on this as well, and then upload that information to the Garmin app afterwards. In terms of the negatives, it is a very basic golf watch. You're not getting much in the way of anything else really, and you're certainly not getting some of the more interesting features that you get from some of these other watches. It feels lightweight and quite plasticky, but then it's a very cheap device. That doesn't really bother me at this kind of price range. And you're only getting numbers and letters on this, so you're not getting whole map layouts or anything like that. The SkyCaddie LX2 is SkyCaddie's entry-level GPS golf watch as well, so it's a good battle of the entry-level watches here. Now the SkyCaddie has quite a nice look to it. I think it looks a little bit nicer than the Garmin, and you're getting a colour screen with this one too. Now, one of the key features when buying any SkyCaddie watch is that you are getting their dedicated manual mapping, I suppose that's what you call it. So they have a team of people that actually go out to the golf courses and then manually check the maps for themselves and update them. And in terms of the basic essential features, again, you're getting pretty much everything that you're gonna want from a golf watch in terms of the distances to the front, middle, and back, as well as distances to hazards and the ability to save your scorecard. Now, there are additional features that you can unlock with the LX2, but you're gonna have to pay for an annual subscription for those. I also found the touchscreen to be kind of fiddly when using it. I wasn't the biggest fan of that. And in terms of usability and layout, I found it had a pretty steep learning curve. I didn't find it the most intuitive. So between these two watches, for me, this is a bit of an easy win, and I'm taking the Garmin S12 through to the next round. Next up is the Bushnell Ion Elite versus the GolfBuddy AIM W12. Now, I actually really quite like this golf watch when I reviewed it a year or two ago. It has a nice bright colour touchscreen display, and generally the touchscreen works quite well. It's not the most responsive touchscreen, but I didn't find it difficult or fiddly to use. And the same goes for the general user interface and layout. And you actually get a full whole layout on this watch. It is a little bit on the thicker, chunkier side if you've got skinnier wrists like me, and you can save not only your scorecard details, but also some basic shot tracking as well, and then upload that to the app via Bluetooth afterwards. You also have the ability to receive some notifications from your smartphone onto the watch if you're interested in that feature. Now, the other watch in this round is the GolfBuddy AIM W12. So with the GolfBuddy, you are now getting a AMOLED touchscreen display. It is a little bit bigger in footprint compared to the Bushnell, if you have a look at it there. And for my 6-inch wrists, it's starting maybe to get a little bit too chunky. And the case, for the money that you're getting, is still a little bit plasticky, it feels a little bit lightweight. Now you are getting some unique features with this watch. So first of all, one of the key ones is that you are getting green heat maps included in the price of this watch. That's a really cool feature because with some of these other watches, they have the ability to show that feature, but you have to pay a subscription to gain access to it. And you are also getting full hull maps on this watch too, again included in the price. This watch is also IPX7 waterproof rated, but there are some trade-offs that I found with this watch too. So first of all, in terms of the battery life, if you're gonna have the watch turned up to its full brightness display, that's not gonna be enough to get you through 2 full rounds of golf. And although you can record your scores on the watch, in order to export them from the watch onto, well, whatever you want, you don't do it via Bluetooth. Even though the watch has got Bluetooth, that's just to update course maps and things like that. You actually have to use the USB dock and cradle and then connect it to a PC or laptop. That just feels really old school for a current watch that you're paying £250 for. So between the two, I'm gonna take the Bushnell on this one. Next up is the ShotScope G5 versus the Bluetees Playmaker Plus. And the G5 is kind of ShotScope's entry-level watch, but just up one notch. So with the G5, you're getting a very basic kind of watch in terms of its functionality and its look, but it was upgraded so that it now has a color screen. Now with the G5, you're not getting any full whole maps or anything like that. You're just getting distances to the front, middle and back, and you're also getting distances to the hazards and all those kind of things. Now in terms of using the watch out on the course, it's a really nice and easy watch to use. There's no touchscreen on it, it's just the 4 buttons, pretty similar to the Garmin S12. It's lightweight, it's kind of plasticky, but it does the job. In terms of the battery life, you've got enough there so that it will last for 2 full rounds of golf and around 5 days if you're just keeping it in non-GPS mode. Although you can record your scorecard while you're on the round, you can't then save that on the watch and then upload it to the ShotScope app afterwards. So let's compare that to the Playmaker Plus from Bluetees. Now on paper, there's a lot to like with this watch. You're getting this bright AMOLED screen and it's a color touchscreen display. So on the course, you get a nice, bright, vibrant image of the green layout, and then you can swipe across to get the distances to the front, middle and back yardages to the green. And I'd say in terms of the look and layout, this definitely has more of a premium feel and design compared to the ShotScope G5. It is really quite a lightweight watch, and it's got this unique slim design. It's got quite a long screen, but that's kind of where the positives end with this watch. The most frustrating thing that I find with this watch is just that it's not particularly responsive. Look how long it takes from when I push the button to how long it actually takes for the time to pop up. Now this watch doesn't have an always on display, so when you're out on the course and you want to check your yardages, you lift your wrist and then you have to wait a second, and then the watch sparks into life giving you the yardages. That's just too slow in my opinion. The user interface isn't the clearest. There's a lot of graphics being used instead of text, and the touchscreen is a little bit too sensitive in times and then not sensitive enough at others. Now using the watch, I did find that it would quite often miss the scores that I was inputting. So when I uploaded the scorecard to the app, it would quite often be wrong. But I've since found out that in order to edit those scores to make them right, you have to have a premium membership to Bluetees. Now, out of the box, you get a 1-year membership included, but after that year's up, you're gonna have to pay around £40 a year. £40 a year to edit your scores, that just seems like basic functionality that you shouldn't be paying for. I'm sorry, but this is a really easy win for the ShotScope G5. Next round, we've got a clash of the ShotScopes. So we've got the ShotScope V5 versus the ShotScope G6. So with the V5, you're now in the realms of ShotScope's shot tracking watches. So included with the watch are 16 club tags that you screw into the end of the grip. And then before you hit each shot, you just wave the club near the watch. It will register what club it is that you're hitting. The watch will track where you hit that shot with that club. And then at the end of the round, you upload all of the data to the app and you have got a ton of helpful data really to help you improve your game and see how you're doing. You can track yourself against similar handicaps or better handicaps or even tour players. If you are looking for data on your watch, then the ShotScope V5 really does pack a good punch, especially given the fact that there are no annual subscriptions. All of that is included in the price of the watch. Now, the V5 itself has a simple user interface. You've not got a touchscreen with this watch, you've just got the 4 buttons on the side, and it's got a simple but bright enough color display. You now get full hole layouts on it too. They are very simple and basic in design. I don't think you can zoom into them. Design-wise, it's a little bit plasticky, but I don't think it looks too terrible. One of the main negatives of this watch is that the battery life isn't that strong. So after playing for 18 holes, the watch was down to about 50%. And actually, this is going to be a really interesting comparison to the G6 because the G6 is the step up from the G5. So you are still getting a pretty basic watch here from ShotScope. It's significantly thinner than the V5, and you're not getting any of that shot tracking data. So with the new G6, you've got a slightly bigger screen than the G5, but what that means is that you can get full hole layouts. So again, they look pretty similar to the basic ones in the V5, but it's all included in the price. There's no annual subscriptions. So between the two, it really comes down to, do you want those shot tracking features, or do you just want a really basic, simple watch that includes hole layouts as well? I'm a big fan of, well, actually, I'm a big fan of both of these watches. This is the toughest one yet, but I'm gonna take the V5 because I quite like those shot tracking features. Next up is the Garmin Approach S70 versus the Bushnell Ion Edge. Now, this is the ultimate David and Goliath matchup here. The S70 comes in 2 sizes. Now, with a bigger version, you are getting dual band GPS, whereas the smaller one has single band, and also you're getting improved battery life on the bigger version. The S70 is a top tier Supremo watch, both on the course as well as off. You can use the S70 for your everyday smart health watch tracking features. On the course, you've got everything that you can ask for, and it looks gorgeous on the bright AMOLED display. Now, with the S70, you are getting the full hole maps included in the price, and you are getting a lot of interesting additional features on the course. So you're getting a pinpointer mode as well as a virtual caddy. Now, if you want green undulations, then you do still have to pay an additional price for the subscription, either monthly or annually. But off of the course, you are getting tons of features as well. So you're getting a heart rate monitor, sleep tracking. You can use this to track your GPS runs, your swims, snowboarding if you want to, as well as tons of other features too. If you're looking for a does it all watch that is one of the best watches that you can use out on the course, then the S70 is probably the way to go. But you have to pay a lot for all of those features. And in terms of using it off the course, if you're an iPhone user, it's not as great a smartwatch as an Apple Watch. Notifications can be a little bit frustrating because you don't really get that much control over which notifications you get from apps and which ones you don't. And Garmin Pay, in my opinion, isn't nearly as good as Apple Pay. The Bushnell Ion Edge is a very basic memory in pixel display, although it is touchscreen, surprisingly. You're getting the simple yardages front, middle and back, and you're not getting too much else with this watch. I actually found the watch quite frustrating to use. The touchscreen didn't really work that well with the memory in pixel display, and the user interface is a little bit frustrating. If you are wanting a cheap golf watch, I think there are better ones to get than the Bushnell Ion Edge. The Garmin Approach S70 is easily breezing through to the next round. So next we've got the Garmin Approach S50 versus the VoiceCaddie T11 Pro. This one could get interesting. The Garmin retails for around £380, and this is one of Garmin's newest watches, and it's a step down from the S70. So you are still getting a really nice looking AMOLED display, but this is a much thinner case, a thinner design. You are also getting a lot of off-course features such as heart tracking and activity tracking in terms of tracking runs or cycles or gym workouts and those kind of things, but you're not getting as much. This is definitely a scaled back smartwatch. And in terms of the on-course features, you're getting a really good looking display showing you all the basic information that you want. However, if you want full hole maps and the green undulations, then you're going to have to pay the annual or monthly subscription from Garmin, which is around £9 a month or £90 a year. The band is a really interesting choice on this one. It's Garmin's nylon band. I think it's perfectly comfortable and fits really well, but you might prefer a rubber band, so you're gonna have to buy that separately. The actual user interface is really nice and simple to use. It's a touchscreen, but you've got a select and a back button on there. Combining those three, I think it's really easy and simple to use out on the course. You get scorecard tracking, you get the ability to track your shots, and you can upload all that information onto the Garmin app afterwards. Comparing it to the VoiceCaddie T11 Pro, and you can see that this one is a much more significant watch. It's a lot thicker, it's a lot bigger. Now this is another touchscreen AMOLED display watch, and it looks nice and bright and crisp. Although in terms of the general layout of the menus and the on-course information, I don't think it's quite as polished as a Garmin. Now you're getting all the essential basic golf features that you'd expect, but with the VoiceCaddie, you are getting full hole maps included in the price. And one of the key golf features of the T11 is that when you get to certain points on a hole, the watch will act in a certain way. So when you arrive on the tee box, it will give you a flyover of the hole. When you approach the green, then it will give you different information. When you're on the green, the watch can actually tell you where it thinks you should aim the putt based on the slope information of the green. You're getting all that included in the price of the watch with no annual subscriptions. You're getting green undulation heat maps in this watch as well, which, don't forget, you have to pay for with the Garmin. You're not getting nearly the amount of off-course features with this watch. For me, it's too big, it's too chunky, and I'm not a huge fan of that user interface. If it was my money, which it was because I bought both of these watches, I'm taking the Garmin all day long. So we're on to the first quarter final. So we've got the ShotScope X5 versus the Garmin S12. So this is one of ShotScope's shot tracking watches, and it was designed to be their premium watch. So it's got this nice looking ceramic bezel, and it's got all the same features really as the V5. The X5 has a touchscreen display, and instead of having the up and down buttons, you've got this crown which rotates, then you can select and go back with the two buttons on the side. In terms of using this watch, I found this to be a little bit of a pain in the backside. It was a little bit too fiddly with the touchscreen. It had quite a few bugs when it initially launched, although ShotScope have pretty much resolved all of those now. And you are getting all of the awesome shot tracking features that I talked about with the V5 earlier. It looks a little bit nicer than the V5, but the touchscreen, I'm just really not a fan of the way that ShotScope executed it with this watch. The S12 is Garmin's entry-level watch, as we already discussed, and I've got a lot of time for this watch because it does all of the basic things that you want it to do, and it does them really well. And the fact that I'm not a huge fan of the way that you use the X5 on the course means that the little Garmin is going to go through to the next round. Next up is the Bushnell Iron Elite versus the ShotScope G5. So do you want a slim, lightweight, easy to use watch, which is what you're getting with the ShotScope? Or do you want a touchscreen color display watch that's going to show you the full holes and has the ability to actually export your scorecards from the watch onto an app afterwards, which is what you're getting with the Bushnell? I think I actually would prefer having that little bit more information with the Bushnell, so I'm taking that one through to the next round. The third quarterfinal is the ShotScope V5 versus the Garmin Approach S70. This is going to be a really, really tough one. I like so much of what the V5 does. It's not the best looking watch that you can buy, but I really like the shot tracking features and the way that that system works. I really like the fact that it's a really easy to use golf watch out on the course, and I like the fact that it's a reasonable price. You're kind of talking around the £250 mark. The Garmin Approach S70 is around double the price of the ShotScope. Is it double the watch? It probably is if you're going to make the most of the off-course features as well as the on-course features. The S70 is a superior on-course watch, and you can get very similar stat tracking features with the Garmin if you buy the additional club tags. But again, that just adds to the price of the Garmin, although the battery life in the Garmin is really, really strong as well. And for me, I do use those off-course features. If you were only concerned about the golf stat tracking features and you want a nice, simple, easy to use golf watch, then the V5 is absolutely worth the money and is not a bad decision if you'd go with that one. But because of all the additional features that you get with the Garmin S70, and they are features that I do want to use, I'm taking the S70. So last up in the quarterfinals is the toughest one of the two. It's the S50 versus the S44. So these are very similar watches. They're kind of based on the same design really. It's just that the S44 is £50 cheaper, but it doesn't have a lot of the off-course features that the S50 has. In terms of the on-course features, the S44 looks pretty much identical to the S50 and does the same things. With the S50, you do get what they call the plays like feature included as standard. So that's factoring in slope and the conditions. However, if you want green undulations and full course holes on these, well, for both of these watches, you're paying that subscription, which does kind of suck because you get it included in the price of most of the other watches that we've talked about so far. I think it's similar to the last round. If you just want the on-course features, then I'd probably save the money and go for the S44. But I think it's worth paying the extra £50 or so to get the off-course features, the heart rate tracker, and those kind of things that you get in the S50. So for me, the S50 is going through to the next round. So semi-final number one, we've got the Garmin S12 versus the Bushnell Ion Elite. Kind of similar to last time in terms of, do you want a entry-level golf watch that's going to do all the basic features, or do you want to have the course hole maps with a color touchscreen? The difference here is that I do prefer the S12 compared to the ShotScope G5. I think it's a better watch, it's easier to use, and the fact that you can now save your scorecards on the watch and export them to the app afterwards, I think they are really key features. And if you're looking for a basic golf watch, then this is one of the very best that you can buy. Whereas with the Bushnell, it's not the best touchscreen that you can buy. It's not the easiest to use out on the course, and it does sit pretty chunky and feels pretty plasticky on your wrist. I'm gonna side with the S12 on this one, and I'm taking the Garmin through to the final. So in semi-final number two, we've got the Garmin S70 versus the Garmin S50. This is going to be a close one. Do you want to pay £500 to £550 for all of the bells and whistles, or do you want to spend around £300 for a smaller form factor watch, which has a lot of bells and whistles, but not nearly as many as the S70? I mean, both watches look absolutely great in terms of the screen quality. In terms of the on-course features, what you're getting with the Garmin S70 is the virtual caddy, which I don't really use that much out on the course, as well as full hole maps included in the price. With the S50, if you want the full hole maps, you're gonna have to pay the annual or monthly subscription. But this watch is around £200 to £250 less. This is gonna be a really close one. For me, there's so many features in the S70 off the course that I simply don't use or don't need. I really like having full hole maps on a golf watch, but I'm not prepared to spend £200 to £250 just to get that feature, and I don't really care about the virtual caddy feature. So for me, I think I'd go with the S50, and then if I want a full hole map for a round, then I might just buy it for a month for about £9 and then remove that feature afterwards. So we're taking the S50 through to the final. So in the final, we've got the Garmin S12 versus the Garmin S50. This is going to be a real tough one because they're both very good watches for what they do. And I think the price point for both of these watches is about right for the features that you get. On the one hand, the S12 is a very basic watch. It's been out for several years now, and you're getting just a simple black and white display, but everything that it does really, really well, especially that really great battery life. Compare that to the gorgeous OLED touchscreen display on the S50, which has got decent battery life. You're kind of talking around 7 to 10 days, but you're also getting significant off-course features as well. You're getting your heart tracking, your sleep tracking, and being able to track several activities. In terms of on-course features, well, the Garmin S50 has a couple of additional ones, but not really that significant, but you are able to track the specific club that you hit without any additional club tracking features, which is a feature you don't get on the S12. You're just getting the basic scorecard tracking. Now, because I do go to the gym, I do like to know my heart rate, I do like to track my fitness and my sleep. For me, I think the winner of this one is going to be the Garmin S50. If you buy the S12 because you want a basic golf watch that does everything really that you need a basic golf watch to do, you're going to be very happy with the S12. But I really like the additional features. I like the fact that this golf watch has a really nice looking OLED display, so you can actually wear this off the course. I think this is a really cracking watch. Hope you enjoyed this video. Tap the like and subscribe button if you did. Let me know in the comments which of those watches would have won for you. I've included affiliate links and full reviews for each of the watches down in the description below. And if you are the type of golfer that loves to get a bargain, make sure you sign up to my free monthly Golf Deals newsletter. Again, I'll include that as the first link in the description below. And given that the Garmin Approach S50 won this competition, and I've included my full review to that watch right here.